Hi, my name is Yusuf, and for the first part, I will talk about the causes of world wars. World War One erupted because countries like Germany and Austria-Hungary wanted more power and land. For example, Germany wanted colonies in Africa like Britain and France had. When tensions rose, their friends joined in to help, like when Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia and Russia stepped in to help Serbia. Then World War II came along. After World War One, some countries felt really unhappy about how they were treated. For instance, Germany was blamed for starting the war and had to pay a lot of money as punishment. This made people in Germany angry, and they supported a leader named Adolf Hitler, who promised to make things better. But instead, Hitler started invading other countries like Poland. And soon, the whole world was at war again. Both wars were about countries fighting over things like land and power. They didn't try hard enough to talk and solve their problems without fighting. Instead, they chose to fight, causing a lot of pain and suffering for many people. So, both World War One and World War Two happened because countries didn't work together to solve their problems without fighting. It is important to remember this so we can avoid making the same mistakes in the future.
Hello, good evening to Madam and my friend. My name is Hari Bisahi. My student ID A423300C881D. So next point, I want to talk about involvement of different countries during World War. During World War One, countries like Germany and Austria-Hungary formed the Central Powers, while France, Britain and Russia allied against them. The war spread globally, with nations like Japan joining the Allies to expand their influence. The United States entered the conflict later to support the Allies, ultimately tipping the scale in their favor. Moving on to World War II, Germany, led by Adolf Hitler, sought to expand its territory and power, sparking the war. Allies like France, Britain, and later the United States joined forces to stop Hitler's aggression. Japan, seeking dominance in Asia, allied with Germany and attacked the United States, drawing them into the war. Both wars involved countries from all over the world, with various motivations and alliances shaping the course of history. The conflict left a profound impact, reshaping global politics and societies for decades to come. For the next part, which is impact of World War, I will pass to Aiman to explain about it.
Hi everyone, my name is Aiman, and today I will talk about how World War affect regular people. Imagine living in a place where bombs were dropping from the sky, destroying homes and neighborhoods. This happened in many cities during the war, like London and Dresden. Families had to leave everything behind and find somewhere else safe to live. Some countries were taken over by other countries during the war. People who lived there had to follow strict rules and were treated badly. They had to be brave and find ways to resist even though it was dangerous. Imagine waking up one day to find that your country has been taken over by another. Suddenly, everything changed. The new ruler imposed a strict rules and harsh penalty for disobedience. You may be forced to give up your home, your job, even your language and culture. Simply speaking up against the occupation could land you in prison and or worse. Life under occupation was a constant struggle for survival and dignity. Many faced discrimination and persecution based on their ethnicity, religion, or political belief. Those who resist the occupation risk arrest, torture, or execution. It took immense courage to stand up against the might of the occupying force, knowing the consequences could be deadly. During the war, there is not enough food or other important things because everything was being used for fighting. People had to ration, which means they could only have a small amount of certain things each day. It was really hard to find enough to eat and stay healthy. But even in a tough time, there were people who helped each other. Some secretly gave food and shelter to those who need it. Others stood up against the bad things happening around them, showing bravery and kindness. For kids, living through the war was really scary. They saw things they shouldn't have seen and lost loved ones. It left deep scars that last a long time. The war caused a lot of problems for people, like not having enough food or safe place to live. But it also shows how strong and caring people can be, even in the hardest time. So that's all from me. I will pass to my friend to continue explaining about the World War. Thank you.
My name is Hamzah Krimin Habri. My name metric is 4233002151. So today I'm going to talk about the impact of the World War II in terms of economics. So we must reflect of what the World War II have overcome our economic structures. The aftermath of the World War II and a profound economic impact, the global impact, lasting from the 1939 until 1945. At the onset of the World War II, the global economy was already struggling due to the Great Depression of the 1930s. However, the war years saw unprecedented level of government spending on the military equipment, infrastructure, and all things about the war things. The war also catalyzed the technological advancements and industrial innovations. Industries such as aviation, electronics, and chemical experienced rapid growth as they adapted to meet the demand of the wartime production, such as the Oppenheimer made the nuclear the terms of more to the biological and so catalyzed the technological advancements and industrial innovations. Industries such as aviation, electronics, and chemical experienced rapid growth as they adapted to meet the demand of the wartime production, such as the Oppenheimer made the nuclear the terms of more to the biological and chemical. However, the economic impact of the war was not limited to the war years alone. The post-war period brought about profound change in the global economic landscape. The United States emerged as the world dominant economic power. So the United States has already been economic leaders because the United States of America has officially won the war. The war also led to the decline of the colonial empire and the rise of the newly independent nation, which is the chart of their own economic destines. The period saw the birth of the institutions such as the United Nations, the International Monetary Funds, and the World Bank. In conclusion, World War II was not merely a military conflict. It was an economic struggle that shaped the modern world today. As we reflect on its impacts, let us strive for peace, cooperation, and prosperity, a legacy worthy of the sacrifice made by those who lived through the struggles years. So that's all from me. Thank you.
let's talk about what we've learned from the both World War One and World War Two. From World War One, we saw how bad things can get when countries focus too much on themselves and their power. It taught us that talking things out peacefully is much better than fighting. We also learned that making peace after war is really important, so we don't have more problems later. In World War II, we learned that ignoring bullies and hoping they will go away doesn't work. We saw how one country's aggression can lead to a lot of suffering for everyone. After the war, we realized that working together with other countries can help prevent future conflict. That's why organizations like the United Nations were created to help countries talk and solve problems peacefully. In short, both wars taught us that fighting isn't that the best way to solve problems. We need to talk things out and we work together to keep the peace. That's all from us. Thank you.
The end of World War marked a pivotal moment in history, signifying the conclusion of one of the most devastating conflicts the world had ever witnessed. As the dust settled and nations began to rebuild, a sense of relief and hope emerged amidst the scar of war. The signing of the unconditional surrender by Germany in May 1945 and Japan in September 1945 brought an end to the bloodshed that had engulfed the globe for years. The world collectively breathed a sigh of relief, mourning the million lost but also looking towards a future of peace and reconstruction. The world had been forever changed by the war, but as it drew to a close, a glimmer of optimism emerged, paving the way for a new era of cooperation and rebuilding on a global scale.